to the Creative Cast podcast. I'm Danielle Dobbs, your host, and we are here today with Nicole Bradham and Grant Nadeau.
Yes, Grant Sparks. Yeah.
Grant Sparks, Grant Nadeau, whichever you feel like saying that day. So, which one do you prefer?
Grant Sparks.
Grant Sparks.
It's easier.
Okay,
Yeah.
Grant Sparks. I remember that too. It said Grant Sparks in your email, but it was like Grant Nadeau.
There's no way he wants that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, you struggle with the name. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for being here with us today.
Mm-hmm.
So you are with Influencer Marketing, right?
Influencer Academy.
Influencer Academy.
We were even deliberating this on the drive over here, and she's like, "No, I'm gonna say."
Yeah. I'm with Hot Mod Agency, and we founded Influencer Academy together.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then you are with
Spark Sites is our website company. We actually have a podcast called The Hot Spark Show. That's actually kind of the umbrella of everything we do, and from there we've launched Influencer Academy and
awesome
an array of services.
Okay. So today we're talking about influencers, and we're going to talk to the audience of businesses too, as far as how do they even contact an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump into the questions. How did Influencer Academy come about?
Well, with Hot Mod Agency, I've been coaching influencers for the past few years because many of them struggle with the messaging of their brand and the business side of their services. So when Grant and I decided to merge, he had the infrastructure really to help put together the course and the membership. And then we've continued to coach our influencers because we want them to have best practices and really lead professionally when they are working with businesses.
Okay, awesome. So what makes an influencer?
Ooh.
An influencer is any person on social media that's making money and monetizing through their social media channels.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it's great. So
Which is like everybody, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say
I mean, everyone wants to be, but the fact that they're paid is the difference.
Whether it's by the platforms themselves, some of them really make a good living off of. Less nowadays. I think monetization programs have changed on YouTube and Facebook, but many of them work with businesses and brands and create content for them, and so they're monetizing in that way as well.
Okay. So I was actually just talking to a friend yesterday, and she was like, I think I want to be a content creator. And so she called it content creator. She didn't even use the word influencer. And I was like, I think you mean influencing. So if somebody wanted to jump into it, what direction do they go? Is that when they contact you and they say, Nicole, I'd love to try this, or do they already have a little bit of experience trying it? What point do they contact you?
Well, I mean, Nicole's been coaching influencers for a long time. I've been coaching entrepreneurs and individuals for their message and speaking for a long time. So it really depends on where they're at. We started Influencer Academy because a lot of people are saying this.
Yeah.
But we had one person, they probably had 8 posts total.
Yeah.
And we talk to people who have 300,000 followers and have been doing this for years and years. And you start to realize, okay, we need to give this intro course.
Yeah.
So Influencer Academy, if someone is literally at the beginning, Influencer Academy, just theinfluenceracademy.com.
Yeah.
Just go there and you'll get everything that we've been repeating to people over and over and over again. But that will give them access to coaching with Nicole for how to curate your feed, how to improve your profile.
But they also have access to our tools, like our course. Our course starts at the beginning from how to curate your bio to what your grid aesthetic should really look like, and then your pillars. Yeah. So beginners, absolutely, theinfluenceracademy.com, 100%.
But I would say this, like if someone's listening to this, like the 3 tips I would say right away, post more. Right? Like post, if you can post every day, because you tend to learn a lot more, not only about the platform, but about your own message, right? What's the second tip you give?
Well, to piggyback that, you learn from what your audience likes very quickly because you get feedback.
Or if you like the audience.
Exactly. You can pivot from there.
Yeah. So, I would say number 1, just post a lot of content.
Okay.
Number 2, talk to the brands. Like, how do you flirt with a brand?
You go to a brand. One thing is make sure you're following them, right? And then comment on their post. And then lastly, DM them and say, hey, I want to learn about your partnership program.
Like, what's she into?
Okay.
Your friend?
She loves she tried to do the plant, the hydroponic.
Oh, like gardens?
Yeah, like gardens.
Okay.
She was trying to get into that and thought about doing some content on that.
Yeah, so like I don't know any brands in hydroponics, but like let's say Lowe's Home and Garden or something like that.
Absolutely. There's a space for everyone. That's something that we've seen time and time again, is that there's a niche for everything. And it's really just about curating and making it aesthetic and then getting some good skills around that. So photography is super important. Businesses are looking to see that you actually have skills in these areas.
Yeah.
So
tagging those sorts of people and that sort of thing. Okay. And then the third thing I would do is I would collab with other people maybe doing hydroponics. Yeah. Or like we know the Florida Bushman pretty well. He's a pretty fun guy. You should have him on the show, Chris Hunt.
Yes. I was really hoping we could show him on today's podcast, but we don't have a way to show
show the screen.
If you don't know who that is, you gotta look it up.
But he's like a bush and she's got hydroponics and you can kind of think of fun little content. And if you just get creative like that, and so if someone were just starting out, I would be like, go take those tips. But then if you were getting serious, get the tools we've created.
And like you're saying, tap into the community of other influencers. Just here in Polk County alone, we have, at least 20 that we know offhand. Okay. And anytime we have a community event, they're coming in and they're like, we want to meet the other creatives, because that's really what the community is. They're just full of designers, creators, speakers, business owners who are, going into content creation. So I could say that there's way more in your backyard than you realize.
Yeah.
And by 20, I think you mean like 20 that are paid well to do it. We have these influencer networking events here in town, like at Bar Vasco and at
fun.
What's the Cohatch? What was the golf?
The Yard Unmasked, which is gone now.
It's gone now. But we had people drive from Fort Pierce, Florida over. Then we met the Aikens. And in our own areas, people started popping up, and this person's got 50,000 followers. This person's got 100,000.
Nice.
Travis Doodles.
Yeah, we haven't met him yet, but he's a local creator. He works with the homeless and creates, is Mega on YouTube is his phone. But he opened up a studio
Mega
off Main
meaning
Street.
What?
Mega influencer meaning millions and millions of subscribers.
Wow.
So just here in Polk County.
That's so cool.
So,
who would have known?
Yeah.
Here in Lakeland.
Right in Lakeland.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
You never know.
Yeah.
So you have one audience that is to your influencers, and you're coaching them, helping them, giving them a path and direction. And then you have another audience, which are your businesses or marketing agencies, if I'm correct, right? So if somebody contacted you, what kind of business would that be? What is that audience?
So we work with small businesses. We've worked with several just right here in Lakeland, from the back nine to top buttons. So essentially the process is actually pretty simple. They say, we want to work with an influencer. They come to our agency and we will recruit, we'll vet the influencers, make sure their target audience matches the business's audience. As well as handle all of the negotiations of rates, contract negotiation, and then we monitor their campaign and make sure that the influencer or the talent really shows up and does what they're supposed to do on that timeline. And then we collect the marketing assets, so all the videos and photos and images that they've done. This is where the ROI really comes in, because not only are you getting an influencer who has a target audience that's yours and you get that reach, but you also get content for your business to continue. It's multi-purpose, and that ROI really starts to, optimize. So we love that this is a really economical option for small businesses, because working with influencers, you get such a great deal from reach, but to marketing assets that you can continue to use and your social team can use. So,
but by economical, we don't mean it's the low end option.
Correct.
So with the website company I had, part of the reason we merged was, as a website company, I have a passion for the underdog, right?
Yeah.
Super small businesses. Now I've done with the website company, we've done, and Nicole in her own regard too, we've worked with big companies, big organizations. With Hot Mod, she works with travel boards across the country, did national campaigns up in Pigeon Forge, worked with Lake Havasu.
NASCAR. Camping World, we were talking about.
I've done big websites for Accenture and Google, but I don't care about that. I really like small business. And so with our solutions like Influencer Academy or Spark Sites, it's been kind of affordable, but still professional. And so as we were looking for marketing solutions for the average small business owner, Nicole's crafted campaigns for medium and large size companies. We got a really good client right now. Shout out to Superior Spray. They're phenomenal, and they've been so open for their industry about doing influencer work. They've hired, they redirected Google Ads budget to influencers because they saw the ROI.
Yeah.
But even still, there's micro and nano influencers that have higher ROI, higher click-through rates than your average ads, have a huge amount of engagement, and you can get them for anywhere from between $250 and up from there, and you're getting deliverables, and you don't have to hire a video crew to come out and shoot commercials.
Yeah. Right.
So even though it's more economical, which it is, it's more leveraged because it's not the cheaper solution, because consumers definitely want that content more than produced commercials. Who were we just talking to about that? We were just talking to somebody about a produced commercial.
We talked to a lot of people about that because they're usually complaining about sending a video guy out for $2,000 to $5,000 easy just to put something together. When this past week, like Paola put together a whole Instagram reel that we'll probably use in some Facebook ads, to be honest, because she's the ideal person. The mom is the one calling for the pest control company to come out because they see cockroaches or ants. So it's like that is exactly who we want to talk to and engage with. And so
Humarian. We run the marketing, or we assist with the marketing with a major probiotic company out of Indianapolis called Humarian, and they have a product called Probonics. And on that call, we were talking to the ads person. And this is like a highfalutin ads person that gets huge monthly retainer, and they're managing huge ads budgets. And we're largely, for that client, the SEO client, but we also have been doing more and more influencer advisement. And someone floated the question, I didn't tell you this, someone floated the question, hey, should we shoot and bring a videography team out to shoot a commercial, because we got to upgrade all of our assets. And not me, the ads dude, who's a mega introvert, he's like Mr. Data, but he's phenomenal at what he does. And he said, and he kind of spoke up, which was big for him. He was his name's Addison, and he's like an introvert, and he does not speak unless spoken to. And he's kind of, excuse me, and he was like tapping the Zoom mic, right? Excuse me, he's like, please do not do that. He said, go get a creator or an influencer, because the data empirically shows people are skipping anything that looks produced or commercial. And they slow down for like a Paola who just did this shoot for us with Superior Spray, or any creator who is doing a decent amount of video content or making it look good. You don't want trash video, obviously, but the creators know what they're doing.
They do.
Sometimes better than the videography companies.
Interesting. So, okay, you really hit, so you have two audiences. You have the influencer, and then you have the businesses, which it sounds like it depends on the business. It's really small, medium, and large. You've worked with it across the board. And then you talked about two pain points. So I wanted to go into the problem that you saw for both sides. But you talked about, first, the high costs that these companies are spending from an ad budget, and then you talked about just what's working. I mean, the genuineness, that authenticity, rather than it being produced. So those are two problems it sounds like you're solving for businesses. What about influencers? Like, what are they coming to you and being like, I have this problem? What would you say that would be?
I would say when an influencer comes to us, their biggest problem is figuring out how to run their services like a business, how to pitch brands, how to put together a proposal, how to manage like a business owner. And it is. I mean, so some of them, there's so many different backgrounds. Some of them are lawyers who have turned travel bloggers. I mean, this is real. Like, we meet a ton of them who have second lives. They've decided to go and pursue this, but we have a lot that are just beginning. And like many people, they just posted a lot, and then all of a sudden they found that they have a following, and they're like, oh, I should do something with this. And it's when they reach that point that they go, I know I can make money online, but how do I go about it? And they're nervous, and they don't know how to talk to brands. We have an Orlando blogger who's, amazing videographer and photographer, but she gets on a call and she freezes up. So it's like we're really sharing with them just basic business principles and how to run the business, and we're giving them the tools. So I would say the pain point is really when they decide to monetize but don't know how to take the next step or what that next step is, and we lay it all out for them.
That's great.
I see it as two types of categories of creators. There's people like your friend, shout out to hydroponic friend Stacy, whatever her handle is, Jennifer, hydroponic Jennifer. There's those people, and then I think of one particular creator just because she stands out in my mind. I won't call her out. She's phenomenal, but she does have about 300,000 followers. She made some bold choices for herself. She's an African-American woman. Yeah. She moved out of the big city in the United States, moved into a small town in Mexico, developed a phenomenal following. She even was getting great brand deals, but she came to us with actually a similar problem that Jennifer, the hydroponics gal, does. They come to us and they want to make this thing a real business. Yeah. And so, Nicole and I met at the co-working space here, Cohatch. Yeah. And we built her website.
Catapult.
I'm sorry, Catapult. I said Cohatch. I'm so used to saying Cohatch now.
I know. We were at Catapult for
Shout out to Catapult.
Years. Yeah.
Shout out to Catapult. And so we met there, and we were both around. The major problem both for small business and for influencers is actually the same.
Interesting.
They don't know how to take things to the next level. Yeah. And we're literally kind of doing matchmaking, but for the influencer side, we're refining their pitch. We're refining how they even speak about themselves. Like when your gal, Jennifer, talks to you, she's like, I'm not really sure what to do. I guarantee if you talk to her for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, at one point it came up, well, there's so many other hydroponics people, and I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
How am I going to stand out?
How am I going to stand out?
So that's a big coaching point as well.
That's where I came in because
definitely.
I've helped coaches, small business owners pivot from entrepreneurship into public speaking. Yeah. It's actually kind of the same skill. Yeah. And so, and then and this was similar to our client, again, shout out to Kevin Blanks at Superior Spray. He came to us, he's built a very successful company. He's got locations throughout Florida. And he's actually kind of asking the same thing when he said, and this is to his credit, he said, what do you guys think? I want to do a podcast. No one in my industry is doing a podcast in pest. And pest control. But what he was doing, I think, and maybe you have a unique insight onto this, I think he was looking for his new voice. Yeah. How do I connect with the public? And so he's got this.
And differentiate in his market. Not a lot of small businesses are taking on these additional marketing outlets to grow their business. They just maybe feel like it's too much. But when you get a marketing company who can manage that, it helps a lot.
And the name of his podcast reveals his personality. And I'll do this by contrast with Daryl Turner, because I know Daryl Turner pretty well too. So Kevin Blanks of Superior Spray, his podcast is called The Pest Detectives, and he even made us do like the Law and Order thing, like the Law and Order thing, I forget what the line is, but he had us do it. That's very much Kevin's personality. So social media helped him refine that voice. Yeah. You go to Daryl Turner. He spent a lot of time just, he doesn't do a podcast, but he does a lot of like talking head stuff. Yeah. And his brand is the Pest Cartel. So shout out to Daryl Turner of the Pest Cartel. He's been a website client of ours for years. But
get the bugs.
Yeah. And get the bugs. He's got this cool like sugar skull like logo that he sticks in the yard. And then when he does his talking head videos, he wears a little bit of like a gangster bandana. And here's a situation where hilarious. Social media helped him shape his voice. Yeah. And to me, I don't view them as competitors.
Interesting.
I like Jennifer, the hydroponics gal. I don't view her as
Is it Jennifer or Stacy?
I think
it's Jennifer.
Okay.
Jennifer.
Lindsay, I don't know. I don't view her as a competitor with anyone else because social media is helping her refine her voice. Yeah. And of the thousands of people that are looking to connect in hydroponics, they'll now shop not because no one else offers it, which used to be before the internet, before social media. Now they'll shop because they resonated with Jennifer or Stacy or Lindsay or Daryl or Kevin or Paola. They'll see someone and go, oh, that person's like me. Yeah. And so everyone has I think everyone has a platform.
Definitely. And it's only through doing that you get to that point. Yeah. But we care very much about the small business and we care about the influencers. And the main thing we're doing at Influencer Academy is preparing them to work with the small businesses and have the professionalism. We're looking at getting a certification program for that makes sure that they're following advertising policies laid out by the FTC. We want to bring quality talent to small businesses so that they know who they're working with and they're going to do the best for them, not only content wise, but also best practices wise or community standards wise when it comes to social media. So that's super important to us. And I think
that's our vision. Really There's no standard. It's the Wild West out there. Yeah. And they don't know that the FTC has rules.
Regulations around advertising and marketing. I mean, you guys probably know some of that too, because there's
marketing.
You can't have any
we have a lot of regulations.
Yeah. And it's the same for influencers. They actually can't fake a review or, not actually try a product, but then talk about it. So, there's a lot more rules coming out.
Or get a free thing and not disclose it.
Right. Yeah. They have to be very open and transparent about what products they're getting for free or what services they're getting for free. And it's really easy to do that through hashtags and just saying, my business partner did this. So there's ways around it. You don't have to be salesy. But again, they don't necessarily know that. We can't assume they know that. So we have to teach them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for background on this, like our vision for Influencer Academy is to set the bar. Because it is the Wild West. We see a lot. We were at TBEX, a conference in Puerto Rico. We spoke there about a lot of this work. And we're realizing the budgets right now, people don't realize the budgets are shifting towards more and more creator economy. Individual budgets for that one company, it might be fluctuating, but the global budget is increasing massively. So we foresee a huge flood of small business owners going, what am I supposed to do here with this contract? And influencers going, I'm just going to get in here and do something. And that's when that's when someone's going to get sued.
Yeah.
So we want to set the bar that our creators are really well prepared to speak to any of these pain points, but then also have a lot of fun and create a lot of voice. So that's our vision. We don't see anyone else doing
I love it. It's great.
Any credentialing.
I don't know. I live in my own world anyway. So
yeah, don't we all?
I got blinders on, and I mean, it's hard. It's so easy to get like sucked into what everybody else is doing, and believe me, we do because we're on social media.
Oh yeah.
But when you have a mission and it's clear, it's like this is what we want to do. Because I have talked to people. They're like, we've worked with influencers before, and I'm like, everybody kind of like, it didn't really go well. And I'm like, well, did you know what they were gonna like? I just start probing, and it's like, well, there was really no like guidelines or anything happening here. No expectations were set. It was just very, out. And
loosey-goosey.
Yeah. And so of course it's not going to go well. Everybody has their story being burned by a marketing company or a IT
web
company.
Design company.
Yeah, it's the same in the influencer world. And it's like, no, we can prevent all that by just preparing them. And we also help with the business owners, prepare them to what to expect.
And it's also the best solution. Yeah. Like, it checks so many boxes, like we've already said. We already covered some of that. But it checks so many boxes, and it's what the consumer's asking for.
Yeah.
So it's like, could we just, like, give this to y'all and make this easier, you know?
So going back to the problem, too, so it really sounds like you're solving for the stagnancy of a company. Like, they've gotten to, like, a point, they don't know where to go or who to connect with. Maybe it's a disconnect. Yeah. Maybe it's just not knowing that structure. They don't have, or they're ignorant. Not in a bad way, just they just don't know what they don't know, right?
Or they've been procrastinating because they're intimidated.
Yeah.
How many people have called you and said, small business-wise, or DMOs even, DMOs are destination management organizations that she's worked with for a long time, and said, I know I should be doing this, but I just don't know what to say in front of the camera.
Yeah. It's kind of letting something go for a while. Like, you can only rely on stock images for so long, and
Canva
I think
graphics.
graphics are only going to get you so far, and then you're like, there's no engagement. So yes, they are looking for the structure and they're looking for that first step. And I what I found is that when you come to the agency, we provide that structure, and it really is just like any other business process. It's just like any talent agency would operate. We find the talent, we make sure it's executed well. And that everybody does what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. And the small business owner, another pain point the small business owner is having, they know they should be doing more social media. So they think, I'm going to hire an intern out of Florida Southern or some local college. And they did that. The internship didn't go so hot because interns require a lot of management and training.
Or it's short-lived. I mean, and then they're gone, school starts again. And so you have like a burst of maybe some style of content, but then it goes away, and then you're like, do you copy that style, or you go back to the old? Like,
and then the alternative is I hire a marketer, and that's highly unaffordable for the average small business owner. And so when I say that, like, creator work, not just what we do, but like any creator is actually meeting this dilemma that I know I need marketing. I'm done doing these cheap, low end, here today, gone tomorrow solutions, and I know I cannot afford a marketer. And then when I outsource to these marketing agencies, any marketing agency that says, we're here for the small business. She's heard me lecture on this, and I cannot stand this idea. The average small business in America pulls $58,000 a year total top line revenue.
Wow.
The average small, I'll say it again, look at the SBA website, it lists this. They make and it's a range, between $58,000 and $62,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know that they are barely taking home half of that.
Yeah.
And when you're in the marketing space or with AAF and whatnot, the average marketing quote is $3,000, $5,000, $7,000.
Oh yeah.
A month.
A month.
Right. Oh yeah.
A month. And they're like, that's my whole budget. And so along comes this industry.
Easy.
Yeah,
and
easy.
It's a no-brainer because they're professional. They know how to do the content, and it's a repeatable system.
Yeah.
Where if Superior Spray is going to work with Paola and Ultimate Girl Mom, shout out to Ultimate Girl, Christina. Yeah. And then next month, Chris Hunt.
He's going to work with Florida Bushman because it works with
so cool.
pest control and lawn care.
It's a repeatable process and affordable.
Yeah.
So to me, there's no end. Well, there's technically no end in sight, in my opinion, for where it's going.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. It's so that's why I am a little bit more diving when I was asking about the audience, really trying to clarify, because small business, according to the government, I believe, is 250 employees or less. So that's a huge range.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about that. So on average, when you're saying that they make what, 50 to 60,000 a year. Well, that
the SBA's ranks on those is so weird because of the volume of businesses that fall under that umbrella.
Yeah.
How many have 250?
Yeah.
A very small portion, but we start thinking bigger numbers, you know?
Yeah.
So you're totally right. I think there's still going to be a gap in the market for years to come.
So I have a structure in my head. I know we talked about audience. I'd ask you about pain points and the problem, and then we talked about solutions. So you've already mentioned it, but if you were to tell the audience listening what you solve or what you provide, what is it from influencer and a business standpoint? So influencer side first. Nicole.
Like the influencers or influencer marketing for small businesses?
Influencers first.
Okay.
So
the services to influencers.
Yeah. So you've touched on a few of these things. You said that it's structure, right? You're giving them that professionalism too. There's like that curriculum that you're offering at this point, starting this Influencer Academy podcast, or the one you've been doing for a while.
Yeah, we kind of went back and forth with that one.
You know, so like providing value in ways. So what is that solution? What are the solutions that you're providing to influencers first?
So for influencers and content creators, you mentioned this earlier, it is interchangeable. They both are really the same thing. We are providing a starting point. We're providing the support in the community to make that decision that they want to get started, but also be led by people with knowledge and experience in the industry and have done it for multiple, like hundreds of people at this point. So really, if they're even thinking about getting started and want to get a taste of what it's like by talking to other people in the industry, real life people in our community, to following our starter course. If at any point they want to do this, they have the structure to get started with the right people who genuinely care about their journey as a creator.
And what do you love about seeing that? Like, what are the results? I mean, like confidence, and I mean,
my favorite part is honestly putting money in the accounts of like stay-at-home moms.
Love that.
You know, I constantly work with people who have families, and this is like a supplemental income for them. They're going extra places like vacations. They're buying things for their kids, and it gives them a sense of independence and confidence just by being able to also bring in some cash flow to their families. And so it's bigger to me than just, hey, I'm running an influencer academy. To me, I see the real life impact every single day through the talent and the creators that we work with. It is literally families. Florida Bushman's wife is a teacher. And any brand deals that we can bring him, I know he's a stay-at-home dad. Yeah. So I mean, it's honestly the reach and the impact that it makes in just our community is what continues to fuel me.
That's awesome.
And let me add to that real quick. We have the Influencer Academy, which is a membership-driven thing. It has the Success Path course, which is all of our tips. It has all of our tools. We've been giving our influencers our agency tools, like our contracts, our pitch proposals. It has all of that.
They have everything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Then we have a community with influencers, everyone from a nano influencer all the way to mega influencers who are having a huge amount of exposure so they can talk to other influencers getting real deals. And then Nicole scours the internet and posts real paid collab deals. Cool. So there's all of that. And then if someone is ready to move beyond that, there's one-on-one coaching, which we do custom coaching packages. And then we even build their online media kits, because PDF media kits are kind of coming and going.
Yeah.
And so we actually build an online media kit that they can just email to creators. So we're really, when we say we're bringing the tools, we aren't just like riffing and teaching. We're actually giving them that tool and telling them how to edit it and coaching them through.
Yeah. Materials, actual materials
actual structured materials. Yeah.
So
awesome.
I want to say it is very much the beginner can start with us, but just to reiterate, we have seasoned creators within the community that lean on us for those business tools that we were talking about because they haven't developed them yet for their own business.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter what part of your journey you're in, you will find a place within the community, 100%.
Awesome.
And then in select circumstances, and I mean select, if it's the right person, we will do agency work. Where Nicole will actually negotiate for them. She has years of experience that. We stepped away from that for a while.
You're talking about full representation for influencers.
Yeah.
That's when our agency will take on the influencer as, we'll represent them to other brands so that they don't really deal with that part of it. But that's
very select.
Yeah, very
select.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's great. So Solution, they have those resources. You're really providing them things that they don't think through.
They're going to miss out on years of having to go of trying to figure it out. Like we are saving them years.
Like down to the point
floundering around going, what do I do? That will not happen in our in around us. I will hold your hand.
We have regular phone calls and you'll hear that
regular means weekly. Daily, weekly.
with the people, and you'll hear I sent out all these DMs. I was DMing these brands and it's like, well, what'd you say? And it's like, hey. And it's like, hang on. And they'll do this for months and years. No one's getting back to me.
Yeah.
And so Nicole has a very well-structured tier that she pulled from her years doing this of this is how they're going to respond.
Yeah.
And so you're cutting off.
I've been on both sides. I already know how the brand's thinking. They do want you to be straight to the point, but also polite and, professional. Yeah. So, it's a lot of fun. I'm really, really blessed that I get to be a part of this community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's from an influencer standpoint too, what is there an average? Is it mainly moms you're working with, or is it super diverse that you've had?
No,
it's pretty diverse.
It's 100% diverse. Yeah, we have families that live in RVs and travel full time. We have international travelers that are just couples that are living their best 20s life, no kids, nothing. They're just going to every state park in the country and just getting brand deals with tourism boards. So cool. That, and then Florida Bushman being a stay-at-home dad. So I would say a bulk of them are families, but a lot of them, like we were talking about Carissa, she's a single traveler. So you have single women who are out doing their thing too. That's a real choice now for women is I'm going to travel solo. That scares the bejesus out of me. But I find courage through watching their journey of going to all these countries, and they're just
But we also have realtors. We also have artists. We have local small businesses who are seeing the value. You keep putting these people on two sides of the equation, and even though that is true,
business owners are content creators.
Realtors.
I have realtor clients, and it's I'm just teaching them how to put out their social media and be
shout
creators.
Out to John Sierra. We have this one group that has kind of formed.
Yeah.
And it's just accountability, goal setting on Monday, follow up on Thursday. Yeah. And it's John Sierra artist, it's Ashley Bearden realtor, it's Naomi, who's
the RV travel family.
She's the RV travel family living out west, and they get along and they hold each other accountable, and they're from I know you mentioned a lot of travel because that's where we started, but it really is more diverse than you would expect.
Totally.
Cool.
Yeah, across the board.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Bucket List family, you guys follow them.
Yeah,
we do.
I love watching them.
Yes. We have very similar families. Being Bethune's, Jen and Kyle Bethune, they recently, I think they bought hundreds of acres in New Mexico, and now they're just
they were just on Dr. Phil, and they've had a wild journey. We recommend go checking out their story.
They're going to be in a Netflix documentary that's coming out about Gabby Petito soon. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
It is. It's really cool.
I think that's secretly there's the mission. Nicole's original mission, helping single moms and families bring that money home. My mission of igniting lives of explosive significance. I want to speak into someone's life and give them voice, right?
Love it. Yeah.
But secretly, low key, I think we both share a love for the randos. with cool stories.
The randos.
Yeah, with cool stories.
The Bush guy.
The Bush guy. He's so
many cool stories.
Chris Hunt's story. Do you know his backstory?
No.
I won't go into depth. Look it up. Okay. But he had a lot of childhood sickness, a stroke very young, in and out of hospitals, and everyone was so serious all the time. And he has some physical impairment.
Yeah.
But he, like in early days of YouTube, he would make his buddies put him in a bathtub in the back of a truck driving around Polk County, taking YouTube videos, making people laugh. And he just wants to make people laugh.
Yeah, that's how he turns it.
And that's what
Florida Bushman. Yeah.
And so creators, I think we both like surprise and delight. We like to be surprised by life. The two of us, we do share that in common. Yeah. And when a creator sits down with us for the first time, and you're like, no, tell me the story. And they're like, I want to make money in collabs. And like, we could help with that. You're like, no, really tell me the story. And they're like, okay, let me tell you. I was once arrested on this one. And you're like, what is happening?
The story behind this story.
Yeah. Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, man.
That's when you know it's like good. You know it's the meats, the story behind the story. It's
here's
the front, here's the good stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. So this is great. I love just talking through this because I do feel like you said this is very Wild West.
Yeah.
And still even today, I mean, from our standpoint, so many companies, they buy client testimonials.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that's
Reviews,
not authentic or genuine, but I love the direction of just understanding more about what influencing is and making that connection between people who are able to do this as influencers versus connecting them to companies too. Even though they have the same goal. So, making money, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so problem, solution, talked about audience. What's the most creative influencer you've worked with so far?
Creative.
We
Wow.
need to have like a creator awards.
We should have, creative awards.
We kind of have that with AAF, right?
Yes.
That's like for digital art, right? Or
it's everything.
Ryan was telling us that it was
everything.
They should have an influencer
specific
section. Yeah. Anytime we bring somebody in for Visit Central Florida, there is a purpose behind the campaign. So like a culinary campaign will be all about food. We did a thrifting campaign recently where we had Beer Cutie and Foodie come in, and she went to curated that curated place in the corner right there. Curated Classic or something. She went there, the antique mall. She went to June Taylor. So she did a whole campaign around thrifting, and it really brought some attention to all the options we actually have for thrifting in Lakeland, which we actually have a few. We
have quite a bit.
Yeah, so it was really cute.
So the Addy categories could be like
influencer campaigns.
An influencer that took a client's pain point and did something unique with it, not just like skim the feeds and said, "Oh, this one got a lot of likes. Let me just do what they're doing," but did something with some insight. Like I think that's kind of cool. But then you could do another creator award of like some creator who actually gamed the algorithm and did just get a bunch of likes because that's what appealed to the public. Like there is a skill and a gift.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it's very in to poo-poo on trendy things, and like everyone roots for the underdog until they win, right? You've heard that phrase. I'm trying to game the algorithm. I'm trying to game the audience. No, you're trying to serve and meet and connect with your audience, and that because that's all the algorithm does.
Yeah,
is to connect with the audience. So I'd have an award for like campaign. I'd have an award for like honestly reach. Someone who does something so unique for their client, their collab client, that they do good reach.
They did, yeah.
Interesting.
And then you could have a humor award because like there are people who really hit the zeitgeist of humor in a powerful way. But then I would think there should be an authenticity award because there is uniqueness is becoming a tough commodity.
Yeah.
It's really tough to be unique.
Yeah.
I would say Jen and Kyle would win that one. They're very open about mental health.
Yeah.
She talks about their marriage, like therapy.
Very openly.
Like open, like way more than I would ever have the
personally,
courage to ever talk about. But I'm super thankful that for people like her who are willing to open up their life and be really authentic in that way. But as far as like creative goes,
that we've worked with.
Yeah.
I don't
like, and my brain's jumping because I've never had this rubric, but this needs to happen for AAF in general.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we share content all day.
Yeah.
And we'll send each other stuff. And then later I'll go, why did I send that? And quite often it's something humorous or something in our industry, but then someone will just do jump cuts and such a unique transitions so well.
It's more video editing.
Well,
skills.
I know, but that's a type of creativity of their ability to see it from the camera's view and go, this is super engaging, but still tells a story. So I'm sitting here racking my brain going, well, based on this, it could be fun.
I like trying something new. Jimmy and Sandy Phelan, they're huge and they're super humble and sweet, but they have a family. She has a pink mohawk. She can take any brand partnership and make it go viral, honestly. And it's just because they understand how to talk to their audience and they understand the video editing to keep somebody engaged with the reel or the video. And so I would say to date, they're probably the most creative or skilled in that way.
Interesting.
But I could definitely pinpoint some other areas that some other influencers like the authenticity, but I would definitely give it to them. And it shows they have 1 million on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they've worked really, really hard for over 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's something too. This stuff doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
It really is I'd
give a shout out to, right now, I think, just to answer your creative question, I'm skimming some of the people I'm following. For creative, I'd say John Sierra for this one reason. He's a muralist in town. He just struck out on his own. And he's been doing murals for a long time. He's been doing art for a long time in a variety.
Yeah.
I just mentioned an example reel to him, just in passing.
Yeah.
And creatively, he took that and created such a super tight...
Like a little movie.
Yeah. And he's not a videographer by design, but he's done major campaigns for Ag America as the creative director.
Yeah.
So he's already got a ton of creativity, but you use the word creative, and so I'd have to say
that last reel he did was very surprising. Just because I didn't know
for just getting started.
Yeah.
Because he's done art for a long time, but he hasn't really gone deep into social media. So I would give him love right now. But you're right.
But he's local, so
he's
if
local.
anybody needs a mural or
but I think you're right. Trying something new. I think they were super creative with their brand. They were bold.
Yeah,
and deciding on
that's very true.
Their brand, and then not only bold with that, but bold in taking their kids on this adventure.
Yeah.
And so I would agree. Like creative is subjective. You know?
Yes, it is very subjective. But it's always good to hear what you guys are. I mean, you guys are experts in the influencer marketing, so hearing what you're sticking out to you, and especially that you're in it all day.
Yes.
Definitely wanted to
all day, every day.
Yes. Just wanted to make sure that, just let the audience know about that so they could kind of hear. Where your thoughts are at. So it's fascinating. So we have the central message, which I wanted to ask you. As far as the message that you would leave with everybody, what would it be?
You're cracking me up.
Yes, you can take a second to think.
Yeah. What's your central message?
Yeah.
And I'm talking to the business owners?
So we'll go influencers first.
Okay.
Central message, influencers, just because we've been doing that the whole time.
Yeah, we'll stay with that cadence there. I would say that a central message to the influencers would be that they are so blessed to be living in a time where they have this option and this opportunity to explore their creativity in a form of videography and imagery on social media, and that if they have even a inkling of desire to pursue that they should, but they should also really look at finding a community, whether that's Influencer Academy, but to tap in as soon as they can, because I truly believe that it's an incredible time to be able to have choices about your career. And there's a lot of people making money. It's not going to be easy and it's not going to happen overnight, but I definitely think that if it's on your heart, you should explore it and just find the right people as fast as you can to help with your success path.
Awesome.
I would say to the average influencer, begin creating now and be bold in your creating, because social media is the most powerful mirror and feedback loop. And a lot of people project that means trolls, and I don't think so. Trolls have always existed. Haters have always existed.
Yeah.
Bullies have always existed. This allows, right now we're seeing a lot of young people be stagnated by the volume of information, understandably so, coming from social media, coming from the internet in general. And they're letting it overwhelm them. I would encourage everyone, take a breath, but re-engage. Because what has taken our generation decades on decades on decades to face the question, what is my voice and what do I want to stand for? Mm-hmm. Fortunately and unfortunately, your son's generation, my niece and nephew's generation mm-hmm. are facing this much more rapidly at a much earlier age. But I would say this, you cannot defeat that. You can't push that back. You can't put that back in the box. Mm-hmm. So embrace it wholeheartedly. Long enough to find your voice. That's great. If you decide, I don't want to express myself, that's great. Learn it now.
Yeah.
So to me, I would say embrace the medium. Let it be the mirror until you've learned what you needed to learn about your voice.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Is that okay?
That's awesome.
That's good.
I got nuts.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
Kidding.
No, it's been all of it's been great today. Thank you. So, going to the business side then.
Yeah.
What message would you say to them after everything you've shared today? Mm-hmm. What would you tell them if they were thinking about influencer marketing?
Yep. If you're a business and you're thinking about influencer marketing, I would say that you 100% need to get on the train now because it already left the station and you're already behind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's okay because there are really great content creators out there that want to work with small businesses that want to support their local economy and that don't be afraid to reach out to people and understand that influencers are not just people you see on social media. They can also take the form of ambassadors for your brand and like speakers for your brand. So just open that up and know that there's the opportunity to work with influencers is everywhere. And if they can't do it internally, that they should definitely reach out to Hot Mod.
Yeah. Awesome.
My message to small business owners would be start now. Your competitors are starting with us last week and last month. Consumers are consuming no longer based on brands. They don't see a logo and think, great, I'll buy this. They see faces and think that resonates with me. Mm. The consumer behavior, that has left the station for sure. Mm-hmm. And when they search, and remember, I have a website company. Mm-hmm. SEO has changed. Google My Business listings, the listing on the right. Mm-hmm. When people are skimming Google results and looking at these listings, they're looking for human faces. Mm-hmm. And 5-to-1 ratio, the data is back that humans can tell what's AI generated, what's not, still to this day. Mm-hmm. And so they will pick, and on a blind study, they will pick 5 times to 1 the human generated content versus AI content. So AI will not be a problem. Mm-hmm. And I believe in AI. First off, big time. Mm-hmm. But in terms of content and you connecting with your buyers, my message to small business owners is engage with creators yesterday, long enough to feel confident in your internal content creation. Do both together for life. But if you do not, you will not have a business in 5 years.
Yeah.
Because consumers are deciding based on these faces and these relationships with creators, and that's you.
Yeah.
So engage it.
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys killed it.
I just had to do that to mess with him.
You're messing with me now.
That's really like millennial. That's trying.
Yeah, I embrace my millennial 100%.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, that's all of my content. I live in the 90s.
Yeah, man. That's too funny.
Thanks for joining us on the AAF Creative Cast podcast.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yes,
Bam.
appreciate it. Last question for you, actually. I know I just closed, but last question. What, if you're reading, do you read books?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
What is a book that you would recommend to the audience?
Oh, man.
Pick a category.
Right.
So the book I'm reading, like, as of today is The Power of Thinking Big. Mm-hmm. It's old. I got it in college. Mm-hmm. I handed it to me, and I continue to go back to it and to help on those days where everything feels big and hard and you're like, why am I doing this? I think that re-engaging with the big vision and thinking big. So I would say go back to that old classic.
Okay. And are we limited to marketing? Because that's what we're talking about?
No.
Okay.
That's not a marketing book. The Power of Thinking Big. It's a personal development. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Old book, Think and Grow Rich, hands down. I read it every year. The language is old. And it's tough.
It's hard to read that book.
It's hard to read that book.
Interesting.
But it was the pinnacle shifting into modern personal development.
Interesting.
And if you track every modern personal development book coming out in the last 10, 20 years, the author got their start or what?
Gary Vaynerchuk's new book.
Well, that's okay. That's not mine. That's yours.
Okay. The Gary Vaynerchuk's new book is great.
Attention.
Yeah.
You only get one.
The book I'm listening to now, reading now, is Candy. Oh my God, Gary Vaynerchuk's.
I don't even know.
Newest book.
It's the author.
We went through it together, and it was profound. We love Gary V's stuff.
Yeah. It's really good.
And for relevant to this topic, I would agree. Day trading attention. It's cutting edge. But also, I've noticed a few things in it that are even outdated by 6 months. Yeah. This moves fast.
Yeah.
Wow.
This moves fast.
Yeah. Wow. It just says the evolvement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you? What's your book?
Yeah.
You're on the call with us. What's your book?
I am.
You're on the call.
Gosh, right now I am reading an awesome book. It's called Blue Ocean Strategy.
Love it. I know it very well.
Well, again, thanks for joining today on the AF Creative Cast podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I think our listeners hopefully get a ton of value out of hearing this. Especially, it's just a new, lots of ropes, new market, I guess you could say, or just really growing area that you guys are jumping into, helping so many people in. And I mean, even for me, being at a business and thinking about my marketing tactics, I really enjoyed hearing how it's growing in that area.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, thanks so
much.
Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.